Hello, my name is Matthew Pfeiffer with mattpfeiffercoaching.com. Welcome to my YouTube channel. On this channel, I create videos and content about toxic, narcissistically abusive relationships. And if you have a question that you would like for me to answer, make sure you send it to justaskmatt at mattpfeiffercoaching.com. Again, that is justaskmatt at mattpfeiffercoaching.com. Just make sure you keep that email 2 to 3 paragraphs max, and you're also very direct and to the point of what your question actually is. If it's too long, if it's too lengthy, unfortunately, I will not be able to get to it. Also, make sure you hit the subscribe notification and you hit the bell notification so you're notified each and every time I upload a new video. With all that being said, let's get into today's email. So today, this email comes from a person who wants to know, will their life ever get back to normal after divorcing a narcissist? And if you have gone through a divorce with a narcissist, if you are going through a divorce with a narcissist, you know that they engage in what's called post-discard abuse. And it can be very difficult to try to maneuver through all of their tactics and through all of the things that they do quite often while you're trying to heal all at the same time. So let's get into this email and let's break this down for her. So this email reads, "Hi Matt, I have been watching your videos for months now and they have helped me tremendously. Thank you very much, and thank you very much for your support. I was with an extreme narcissist for 10 years. He prides himself on fooling people and getting away with it. Even the ones who don't say this, they all do, right? This is where they get their narcissistic supply. They enjoy doing this to people." So let's continue with this email. "He loves being the victim and soaking up as much attention as he can." Again, very, very common. A lot of times people talk about narcissists being very aggressive, but they also oftentimes flip themselves over to victim. And so a lot of times people who are saying that they're victims of abuse and victims of different things, a lot of times they're not. A lot of times it's a narcissist in disguise. "During those 10 years, there's serious gaslighting to make me think I wasn't seeing things that I saw or heard what I heard, etc. Multiple levels of cheating and abuse with my finances, which I'm still suffering from to this day. I finally divorced him 3 years ago, but am now stuck trying to co-parent with him, which is extremely difficult. He's never stuck to the schedule. That's always a problem with the schedule, or paid child support. Again, they never want to be accountable. They never want to be held responsible for anything. They want to have control, and they use these things as a form of control and as a form of post-discard abuse. But we're going to get back to these issues here in a second. I didn't force the issue because my daughter would always get upset and state that she didn't want to go with him." So we're going to circle back to that. We're going to put a bookmark there. We're going to circle back to forcing the daughter to do things. "Right now, she's only 8. My question is this. You constantly talk about healing from narcissistic abuse, but how can I if I'm stuck with co-parenting with him for another 10 to 15 years? I can never break free from the constant game playing." And we're going to put another bookmark there with the game playing. "The anxiety of worrying if my daughter is safe with him, not to mention we will likely end up in multiple court battles that will only cost me money. His narcissistic mother pays for everything if it will help her get more access to my child. Does this cycle ever end? Is there anything I can do to get off the hamster wheel? Or will I have to pay for my mistake of marrying the narcissist for the rest of my life? It seems like in order to survive the aftermath of being with a narcissist and having a child, you must wake up every day on the defense and prepare just in case something happens." And I'm gonna pick up here in just a second. "And when something does, I have to try to practice in all different safe methods and protocols to try to protect myself and ensure that I'm not breaking any rules, even though he is. I'm mentally and emotionally exhausted. Will I ever have a normal life?" And so thank you very much for this question. Thank you very much for writing in. And so the answer to this is yes, but it does take work. So let's pick up right here down towards the bottom of your email when you said, when you were talking about the game playing and the survival, the aftermath, right? And the fact, and you feeling like you always need to be perfect. If you and I were talking in person, I would challenge you on this because I have a feeling this is what's very common for a lot of times with people. I have a feeling that you're talking to this person too much, right? This is a big problem when people are co-parenting with a narcissist, is that they have a custody order in place, but they want to prove to the narcissist, they're still looking for validation, right? And because of the conditioning that happens through the relationship, you are trying to prove to the narcissist, and you're trying to, whenever they text, whenever they're sending those nasty messages and things of that nature, you're trying to let them know, like, hey, everything's okay, like I'm doing my best, this and that, and you're trying to satisfy, you're trying to calm the savage beast, right? It's not going to work. They did not accept you, and they did not appreciate you when you were together. It damn sure is not going to happen now that you guys are apart. There is not enough that you can do, right? You are never going to please the narcissist. Right. So in terms of getting off that hamster wheel and to stop playing the game, the way that you stop playing the game is you stop playing the game. Right. It's a very upside down world that the narcissist lives in. So here are some of the games that the narcissist wants to play. Right. They want to press your buttons. They want to piss you off. They want chaos. Right. Some of these things that you talked about in terms of him taking you back to court and the mom paying and playing victim. Right. All of those things, like when we get down to the nitty gritty of what a narcissist does, they want the chaos. That's it. Right. It's common knowledge that narcissists want attention, just like you said in this email. Right. What a lot of people don't understand is that they want attention at all costs, no matter what. Right. So that means that they even want negative attention. Right. And in some situations, and it sounds like that it's a situation like this here, is that some narcissists prefer negative attention more than they like the positive attention. So as long as they're creating chaos, they don't care. Right. Not picking up the child. Right. You're probably getting a bunch of nasty text messages. You bipolar piece of shit, blah, 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 blah. Right. You wreck this, all those type of messages. And what happens is that for a lot of people who struggle with co-parenting, is you get these messages, and because you haven't healed yet, right, you get these emotional triggers. Your fight or flight response goes through the roof when you get that text message, when you get that call, and you immediately want to resolve the issue the way that you tried to immediately resolve the issue when you're together, right? Responding within 5 minutes, trying to tell them everything they want to hear, trying to do anything to calm the savage beast. Guess what? It didn't work when you were together. It won't work now. So the way that we actually handle situations like this is that, number one, you delay. If you have to respond, you delay your messages. Delay them, right? And this has nothing to do with them, right? And I know a lot of people are listening to me say this, and they're thinking to themselves, yeah, but then they're going to get really upset. Then they're going to get really mad. Fuck it. They're mad anyway. Right? They're creating chaos regardless if you give them what they want or don't. So do what's in your best interest, right? Which is to walk away from the phone, handle your triggers, develop coping skills, breathing techniques, going for walks, meditating, right? Then if it deserves a response, then give an appropriate response, right? With you maintaining composure and with you having a better. And so what happens is that now we're adding healing elements, right? And we're also not giving into this hamster wheel, this game that you're talking about, right? So I would link up with a coach or therapist. Obviously I'm always available, right? But you want to make sure that you develop coping skills to be able to soothe yourself when you start getting these messages. And what's going to happen over a period of time, this is going to last longer than what you would like for it to. When you're getting these messages, when you're getting the texts and the phone calls, eventually this person starts to realize that that the game isn't working, that these buttons that I'm pressing don't work, that it's taken hours for this person to respond. The narcissist wants immediate gratification. And when you don't give it to him, and he's going to get pissed, right? If you don't give me a text message right now, I'm going to call the police. He's going to start threatening, right? When you don't give in to the threats, when nothing bothers you. I tell people to be a mountain, right? Not, when people talk about gray rock, be a mountain, right? That the storm is going to blow, and mountains don't care. Right? It doesn't, with a mountain, the mountain realizes that I'm going to be a mountain regardless. The wind is going to blow, the tornadoes are going to hit, there might be a snowstorm, and the mountain's like, I don't give a fuck, right? I'm still going to be who I've been this entire time, right? And so, yes, you're going to feel anxiety. Yes, you're going to have certain responses, certain triggers because you're going through a healing process, but he's not allowed to receive the emotional response. So delay your responses. If it doesn't deserve a response, you don't give a response, right? If he takes you to court, handle court, right? He has a right to take you to court. But when he doesn't see the reaction that he wants, right, eventually all this game playing begins to stop, right? And in terms of him not complying with the order, you take notes, you document when he's not showing up, if he's not, those sorts of things. And in terms of your daughter being upset by not seeing her dad and him also not complying, you want to teach your child, right? A lot of times as parents, especially when we struggle with codependency and people pleasing, we want our child to be happy all the time. Our responsibility as parents is to teach our children how to respond to life with all of their emotions, not just the happy ones, right? A lot of times people want their child to be happy for their own personal gratification. We have to let that go. We have a responsibility to our children to teach them emotional intelligence when things are good and also when things are not going their way, right? So when she's upset, when she's having anxiety, where's dad? He hasn't called. He hasn't come to pick me up. I haven't seen him in a long time, right? We want to teach her how to deal with those, I'd say negative lightly because I don't believe in negative emotions, but the ones that don't feel good, right? And what happens through that process is that she actually learns who her dad really actually is. Couple of great resources. I have linked to my bio, The Conscious Parent and The Awakened Family. Both of them are by Dr. Shafali. That's in my recommended bookstore. And that will teach you a lot about how to teach children how to live with good, healthy emotions, emotional regulation, and emotional intelligence. So thank you very much for writing in. Anyone else who would like to write in, if you have a question that you would like for me to answer, make sure you send it to justaskmatt@mattpfeiffercoaching.com. Again, that is justaskmatt@mattpfeiffercoaching.com. Keep the email 2 to 3 paragraphs max. Be very direct and to the point of what your question actually is. And also give me several days to get back to it. The fastest way to work with me is to connect with me for a paid one-on-one coaching session. All of the links for that are down below. With all that being said, thank you very much, and I will see you in the next video.